Hey, what's happening, Roland? Well, today's Friday, and today's a Friday update. Hey, guess what we got? Look at the rainbow. Look at the rainbow. And you know the old saying is that there's gold at the end of the rainbow. Let's see where let's see what's at the end of the. Well, over here at the end of the rainbow, here's something I just brought down. I just built, and guess what's in this tank here? Look, they're gold. There's gold in here. This is gold, golden shiners, and that's the biggest thing. That's gold and a half, son. I built this tank this week. Okay, people don't realize what I've done over the years, but years ago I had the largest shiner operation, I guess, in Florida at the Roland Martin Marina, and I'm not working there now. I'm working over here in Fells on Headwaters and on Garcia and on the Stick Marsh, and I'm just doing a lot of work like that. And so I started a shiner operation. I'm not charging. I don't charge for shiners. I take people fishing. We get monster bass, and I'm going to talk about these monster bass for last week. But anyway, we got these shiners, and I just want to show you some shiners. Look. You talking about a big shiner? Now, folks, that's a big shiner. That's a 10-pound bass shiner here, boys. That's the kind of shiner. Now, a lot of people will use little bitty shiners, and I don't have any little bitty shiners, but for example, this little bitty shiner here, well, I get one. That little shiner, okay, a 2 or 3 pound bass is, would bite that shiner pretty good. But what I like for a shiner is about an 8-inch shiner. Here's a perfect size shiner. This size shiner right here is 6 or 7 inches long. It's about a 6. Is just the perfect size for 4, 5, 6, 7, even 10-pound bass. But anyway, this is gold at the end of the rainbow. This is. I have frog togs. It rained all day out on Headwaters, and I get these, and I don't sell these shiners. Now this is just something I just get to fish with, and I'll be fishing with my people tomorrow. But anyway, last week, let me just tell you what happened. Let's walk over to the boat real quick, and I'll show you a few things. I've been taking this boat, and I normally use a different kind of cast net. This happens to be a cast net that I just recently picked up and bought, but I use a Calusa cast net normally, a Calusa net. But anyway, here's my boat. Now here's what I do in the boat. I got this big tank that I rigged up, and that big tank I could put about 10, 15 dozen shiners in there, and I got plumbing, and it overflows, and the water comes in the back, and it all comes in, it circulates in, and it holds all these shiners. And boy, I tell you what, more shiners. When you have fresh, brand new shiners, just all perfectly big, nice, giant shiners, I can catch some huge fish. Now, let me tell you what happened last week. Last week I caught 2 over 10 pounds, and all days, and had to eat. Every other day I had a 10-pound bass. The other days I had 8-pound bass. I had 7-pound bass. And this is an incredible story, and you might not believe it, but I had that tank full of 132 shiners. We got bit on 131 of these shiners. And the only reason why we didn't get bit on the 132nd shiner, he was hiding in the tank. I didn't see him. So we didn't get him on. Anyway, that was just an incredible day. I've never had so many bass. We had 19 of them over 5 pounds. It was the best day of the year, and it was a shiner day. So tomorrow, I got a husband and wife from West Palm Beach, and she told me, she said, Roland, she says, I've never caught a bass over 6 pounds. She said, I've caught them up to 6 pounds. Do you think we can catch a bass over 6 pounds? I don't like to promise things because, it's hard to promise somebody anything, and so I didn't promise her a bass over 6 pounds. But I said, but we're going to catch one over 6 pounds. I promise you. I'm telling you, the audience, yes, we're going to catch a bass over 6 pounds. Let me just show you what I'm using here on a shiner deal. I got some rods set up right here. Let me see if I can get over here. I'm ready to go. I don't know if you can get here. I'll just hold. I'll show you. Okay. This is kind of one of my shiner deals. Okay, here's a better shiner deal. This one here is better. Okay, what we have is basically a 50-pound braid. That's a 50-pound braid, and that's about a 6/0 Kale hook. That's a Gamakatsu Kale hook, and I've even offset it a little bit more. I've got it a little bit offset. Okay. Now this float, I use balloons as well, and I'm a big balloon guy, and you've seen me do balloons before. But this is kind of a neat float, because what this float does is it's unlike the balloon. I can adjust that and push it up and down the line and make it shorter or longer, and it has little clips that go in the bottom here. Anyway, that's just a really good deal. I like these bright chartreuse floats, and I like the orange float. So what we're trying to do is keep two different colors together. So they were biting so good this last week, I couldn't fish three rods. There were three of us in the boat. I couldn't fish a rod. All I could do is take care of the bait, get them all squared away, because we broke some lines. They got all wrapped up, and then all things happened. We had mudfish to bite, and the alligators would get after stuff, and there were garfish, you know, going around crazy. So it's a lot of work getting these shiners. But anyway, I'm all set up. And how much time? 6 minutes going. What I try to do, I try to make these videos 8 minutes. It's just a standard thing. So we're coming up close to 7 minutes right now. But what I wanted to really emphasize was the fact is that if you want to catch really a trophy bass, this is the time of year when the water cools down. The water has finally gotten down around the low 70s, the first time of the year. And I'm a big pattern fisherman. And I look for that exact set of water and cover conditions. And when the water gets down in the low 70s, those big bass really turn on, because it's near spawning season. And so what they do, they just kind of get into these spawning areas, and they hate shiners. See, a spawning fish, because the shiners eat the eggs. So what you want to do is you're going to get a shiner into these little shallow places where they're thinking about spawning, and they'll try to kill the shiner every time, because they just can't stand a shiner. Well, anyway, I got this whole thing going, and one other little application that I've been doing, I got this Lowrance active target unit on this trolling motor, and I can go along the weed lines, and it's kind of cool because this shows me out in front of me on the screen. It shows me out there 30 or 40 feet away. It shows me what's on the edges of these big hydrilla banks. Now, on Headwaters Pond, there's a lot of deep canals, there's a lot of deep holes, there's 11 big pits, and there's big walls of hydrilla. And I can go along with that active target, and I can search out and see bass. Now, the problem is they're not all bass. Some of the time they're garfish and they're mudfish and there's something, but at least I'm seeing fish. Now here's the other thing. If you saw no fish, you don't want to fish there. If you came up with your active target, you scan along that hydrilla bank and you see nothing, don't even fish there, because there's no fish there. You're not seeing anything. If you see fish, no, they're not all bass, but there's a good chance that some of them are bass. So what you want to do is see fish on those edges, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm going along, and usually the pattern is normally they like the wind kind of facing them. They like where the wind is pushing the water towards them. Say they're on a big hydrilla bank, and the wind's coming at them. That's what they like. So I'm kind of keying on those spots, and I got about 10 or 15 spots that I guarantee there's 6 and 8 pound bass stacked in there, and we'll catch them. So that's kind of what's happening to me. I'm getting ready for trophy bass. So that's the whole thing about coming over here to these headwater areas and some of these lakes. There's a lot of 8 and 10 pound bass here. I mean, I caught a lot of them last week. I caught 2 over 10 and 3 or 4 over 8. So, I mean, it was a great week. And I can do the same thing this coming week. So that's what's happening in my world. Getting ready for these trophy fish over here at the Headwaters area. Hey folks, hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate you subscribing, and hit that likes button. We'll see you again soon.